What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of This is the Show with myself, Alex Damon from Star Wars Explained, and Molly Damon, also of Star Wars Explained. We have a full house tonight with Molly's show, A Certain Point of View. Our Schmodown friends, we have
Not
Jake.
my show.
No. Jake and Brian and Jill. And also Sean Sullivan of the Star Wars Schmodown League, one of my competitors. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hello.
That would imply I get to that point.
You're a competitor in my heart.
You have a win. You have a win. That
Yeah,
counts.
you got a win under your belt. That's enough.
So real quick before we get started, because this isn't a question and it just feels like a good way to start off the show. Thank you so much, Elijah Neal, for the very generous super chat. You have a live stream that we want to watch. You may think you have some idea of how many people want to watch it, but you do not. Soon it will be ours. It means more to us than you will ever know.
That's perfection.
Thank you, Elijah.
So honest.
If you haven't watched the show before, what we're going to do is spend 30, 45 minutes talking about the episode amongst ourselves, and then we're going to start answering fan questions. If you have a question and want to get it in the queue, you can leave it in the super chats, and we will get to them in order. But how is everyone feeling about this episode? I'll just say that I really, really enjoyed it. This was the first one I watched at 3 a.m. And I was just like very cloudy minded, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about it when I started it, and by the end I was just like so psyched.
Have you possibly slept since the announcement yesterday?
A little bit. Not enough.
Well, you went to bed last night and laid there, and then like shortly after was like, I can't sleep. I'm just gonna get up and go watch the show, The Mandalorian. And I was like, okay.
Gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just so much adrenaline.
How's everyone else feeling about this episode?
I'm right there with you. This was the first one I actually watched as soon as it dropped. So that was kind of exciting that I didn't have to worry about reading Twitter all day. That was nice.
Yeah, I guess. And I mean, for me, it kind of felt like a nice palate cleanser.
Mhm.
I was in the same boat, like of when it started. I don't really know how I feel about this one. It kind of seems and then once it gets going, I'm like, oh, this is a great episode.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it had a lot of stuff to love. It had a lot of nice little details, but not the same kind of blow away details that this whole season has had. So yeah, real good.
Yeah, I'm with Sean. It took me about halfway through the episode to appreciate what was happening. But then once I watched it a second time, I actually appreciated the first half of it as much as I did the second half.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, I think it's just because the expectations I had for it. I had certain expectations for it, and that's totally on me. It's my fault. But I'm glad I did watch that second time, because the episode is, like Sean said, it really is a really, really good episode.
Yeah, it's Jake and I watched it not together, but at the same time. And originally I was like, that's what we got. But like the more I'm like watching it, hearing about it, second watch, I'm like, okay, this isn't that bad. I actually kind of like this. And I think you describing it as a palate cleanser actually is pretty on point with it, because I'm sure it's just like, here's the calm before the storm. And
Oh yeah.
the storm is a coming.
Molly, how did you feel with an episode, the first episode that has absolutely zero Baby Yoda?
I was gonna say.
So I watched it this morning. I did get up at like 6:30 in the morning to watch it, because I just woke up and I was like, well, I can't go on Twitter until I watch this, so I'm just gonna go watch it. And then I went back to sleep afterwards. But yeah, right after I watched it, I was like, there's something about this episode that just is rubbing me the wrong way, and I can't put my finger on it. And I was like, there was no Baby Yoda. But I mean, otherwise, I did enjoy it. Definitely enjoyed it more the second time. I think this is one of the best directed episodes we've had so far. Rick Famuyiwa just knocks it out of the park every time.
I mean, I felt like this episode had just an uphill climb for me because I did not like the crew from chapter 6. I did not like Mayfeld. I thought all of them were just too like over the top. Look how hardcore we are, and I know that's what they were going for. So when they were like, "We got to go get Mayfeld," last episode, I was like, "Do we though?" And really, like they really turned it around, and now I'm like, "Okay, I like Mayfeld a lot."
Yeah.
that one.
They completely redeemed his character.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I don't think I disliked him as much as you did or that episode, but by the end of this one, I was like, man, that was such a good arc for him.
Well, that chapter 6 was one that I felt the same, where early on I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then as it goes on, it got better and better and better. And my first watch through of chapter 15 felt exactly like that. And then my rewatch of chapter 15, I was just like, no, this is all good.
It's interesting to think back to the prisoner episode of whether or not the surrounding characters had us thinking about Mayfield the wrong way. If he is in fact the same way in that episode, and if the other
you stole
characters
that from
around him-
me.
Oh, was that from you? Did we talk about that?
Yeah,
just
just
Nice try, Jake.
I'm just saying. Okay, if it is from Brian, good point, Brian. It's interesting to think that him separated from that crew, we have a he feels like a totally different character, like a brand new character that is completely different from season 1. And I really liked Bill Burr in this episode. I thought he was maybe the best part of the episode. I'm still questioning myself, but I would love to see him back in some capacity.
I mean, I think that's a good point, Jake and Brian. So you had Shion and you had Berg and you had Zero, but Mayfeld was also a new addition to that crew. He was like the Din replacement, so he hadn't been running with them as long, I assume. It's weird. So maybe that crew is the one that just corrupts everyone, and they're terrible. But if you separate everyone out, they're a lot better.
Mayfeld definitely seemed way more humble in this episode, and
Yeah.
working in that whatever shipyard place he was working in would probably be a way to humble someone.
Well, it also probably had something to do with the fact that it was Din and Mayfeld one-on-one instead of Mayfeld trying to perform in front of his crew.
Mhm.
Especially when he's Din's replacement, you get this Mandalorian rolling up in full Beskar, and you're his replacement. You kind of got to prove yourself.
Mhm.
But here it was just Mayfeld and Din and their unified goal, and they both don't want to get killed, so they have to work together. I think we got to see Mayfeld's actual character and not whatever he's performing for in front of his old crew.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it too, because his old crew is like literally a bunch of psychos, literally.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, you hang around the psychos, you're going to act a little bit crazy. And I think this was him away from it and be like 100% just what his character was. And we got a different taste of this character. And I kind of agree with Jake. I honestly think, shockingly, I went from Alex, you said seeing him show up, you're like, oh crap, this guy's back. And then now you're like, this guy might have been the best part of the episode. So,
He was.
yeah. So,
And
it was cool.
To our point about Rick Famuyiwa, it started off from the second the episode started. Like they threw it in your face to make sure you knew that, okay, you're going to get a lot of him, and we want to make sure you realize that this isn't the same character. It didn't wait till like halfway through the episode or like a game-changing moment or something. It was as soon as we saw him, he felt, looked, and acted a lot different from the previous character.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, let's just start there. Where in that first shipyard scene, Kara gets him out. They meet up with the rest of the crew. Boba with his freshly painted armor, and then
Yes, thoughts.
and
Yeah,
just stop me. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did they stop at a craft store? Does he have that paint in
I was
the
gonna
Slave
say-
One?
I want to see the paint shop inside the Slave One. I want to see him with the mask on, spray painting the armor.
Full paintbrush.
While everyone else is waiting, like we have to get my son. And he's like, I have to paint my armor.
They took a stop at Hobby Lobby, you know.
I have opinions. I have opinions on this big time
Of
because
His thoughts.
when I will keep the role playing game references to a minimum, but I played Star Wars role-playing games before. I played a Mandalorian character in those role-playing games. Big surprise. And the thought was always, well, what happens when your armor gets dented and dinged and scratched? Well, you probably have paint in the, in the ship to repaint it. So I think that adds up. The big disconnect for me is we've never seen Boba's armor look that clean.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of is off-putting to me.
I agree.
It took some getting used
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I think that it has to do with him like turning over a new leaf. He seems like a better Boba, a nicer Boba. So the same way that Din messed up his armor and got a brand new literal clean slate, I think Boba's like, I'm gonna just give myself a fresh coat of paint. Like this is a new version of me.
You know what it looked like to me? The first thing I thought of was like, oh, he looks like a Funko Pop now.
He does. Like that's
Very
like
flat, yeah.
that was the vibe I got.
Perfectly even coloring.
That's okay. Well, that's probably what they were doing.
That's
now you can get
marketing.
you can get like Boba with the robe from last episode where his armor's still messed up, but you can also get Boba with the robe and the fresh paint.
The Boba hot toy. I mean, it's all gonna come. I mean,
It's gonna be the exclusive. It's gonna be the exclusive Hot Topic figure. It's gonna be the freshly painted. Boba
No, it'll
Fett.
be last episode. Will be the exclusive, the freshly painted.
It's gonna be like the gen.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I just thought he wanted a nice new outfit for his dad bod. I mean, that.
Yeah.
He wanted to look nice for when Baby Yoda met him.
Yeah.
Want to make a good first impression.
I will say to what Alex, what you were saying about the armor with Din in last season. This is also the first time that we know of that he's had it in 5 years. So maybe it's just like a thing for him about the whole integrity of the armor too, that he gets it back. It's been through the ringer the last 5 years. And it's kind of like you said, a fresh starting point. If we ever do get that story, who knows? But man, it's just a nice symbolism for a new start for the character.
Yeah.
Robot Chicken's not canon. Him coming out the Dialectic, that one? No?
I was still kind of hoping that they would have a conversation about like, well, what happened to you? Like,
Yeah.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
I loved seeing the inside of the Slave One.
Finally.
How cool was that?
Like it took
the
us
way
a
it
second
rotates
to
and
realize. Yeah, it took us a second to realize it was in the slave one. We were like, "Whoa, wait, whoa!" And it was like turning, and we were like, we had like a fan moment.
Nice little moment
Yeah, we had a
there.
little
Yeah,
moment for a second.
I mean, the Slave One is a strange ship, but I love it. I know
think
Jill
it's-
had some reservations about it.
I think it's weird.
yesterday.
I think it's a weird looking
But-
ship.
Ladies just
I
don't
think
like
it's
Slave
an
One.
ugly shit.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't seem like a
Well,
functionable ship.
everything swivels, so
yeah,
it works.
but I don't know. I just think it's weird.
It can shoot behind itself.
That's
it's
cool,
great.
but-
Yeah, I mean it's just so much more spacious than I thought it would be.
There's so
Yeah.
much more room for activities.
Yeah.
Where do you think his bunk bed is?
And
Oh,
is
that's a
it
good
does
point.
it stay put? That's the question. Like, does it shift around? Who knows?
Is
Maybe
it
it's like
like-
a floating bed,
Everything's swivel. Everything's on an axis.
It's like a what is that toy? Like a sock and bopper where it's like they just like don't fall down. Like it just keeps
Oh,
rotating.
yeah.
Oh, Weeble Wobble.
Yeah.
There we go. Weeble Wobble. It's like that.
It's funny that you picked that, Molly, because that was the one thing I told Jake that like I think I got the most excited about, because that's like honestly one of those little kid questions that I've had forever is how does everything not just fall over inside when we go upside down? Like I've honestly probably since I've seen the Slave One for the first time being like, that thing just flipped up sideways. Did all of his stuff just fall over? And then I answered it.
There.
Yeah.
It's a face
Does-
fantasy.
The series of magnets on the inside.
Artificial gravity, whatever
It's
you want.
also a great ship for napping when you're landed, because you're already
Recline.
It's just reclined.
Boba was napping that whole time.
Uh-huh.
Well, let's jump ahead to Morlack, the planet, and they have to hijack a Juggernaut transport to transport Rhydonium into this base. And I think our first stop, our discussion talk here will be Mando taking off his armor and helmet to put on a different set of armor and helmet. And basically him like step one of bending the rules, as Mayfeld points out.
Yeah. And I like how they pointed that out, like that kind of hypocrisy thing is, does it matter if they see your face or does it matter if you take your Mando helmet off? I really liked how they like full on addressed that. And then you couldn't see his reaction to it, but you can tell even behind the helmet, Din was having a little bit of a conundrum just over that realization. So I really enjoyed that part.
I wonder if he even knows the answer.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was
too.
thinking too, was, is it the same? Is it different? No one removed his helmet. You know, he removed his own helmet, put on a new helmet. Does it matter? Probably. But yeah, I think it was good that we finally got to see him kind of bending those rules
Kind
for
of
something.
vulnerable.
Yeah, see him vulnerable, bending the rules for something he cares about. The whole thing I've been looking for in this show is watching Din develop from this strict member of what Bo-Katan calls a cult. You know, even in season 1, you can tell, if you watch the Clone Wars and Rebels, you can tell whatever he believes is very different from what we're used to from Mandalorians. So I'm glad to finally see him developing into something a little more close to what we're used to seeing. But I did love the line from Boba, I think they might recognize my face.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I died at that line.
That was pretty great. That was
now
pretty
I want him to pop up and for someone to recognize him. Like I want
Yeah.
that to happen. But Mayfeld, all of the stuff that Mayfeld said when they're driving that giant thing, I don't know what it's
Juggernaut.
called,
Juggernaut.
the Juggernaut.
Looks like
Um,
a caterpillar.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
liked that
I like it.
vehicle.
I did
actually.
too. It was cool.
when he like basically calls him out and says that he will change his rules when he gets desperate.
Yep.
And then he goes on to say like pretty much everyone will do that though.
Yeah.
I loved all that.
It's funny because when Bill Burr said, like, is it you can't see your face or take off the helmet? I was like, no, it's. Oh, wait. That's
Yeah.
a good point. I like immediately like wanted to answer like for him. And then I was like, oh, that's a good point. That's kind of the same toss, the same. What is it? The same side of the same coin, whatever the hell
Yeah,
that
different side of
thing
it.
is. Yeah. I was like, oh, dang, he's got a point there. And then, yeah, it's like Jill said, like, you almost kind of imagine his face underneath, like being like, crap. Like, so
Well,
it's kind of funny.
Did you have any
Oh,
more?
no, that was it. Yeah.
Oh, while we're talking about Mayfeld, something I still haven't really figured out, I don't think for myself, is so the episode is called The Believer, and I assume that's talking about Mayfeld, but I don't know exactly what that means, although it could also have a double meaning and refer to Din and his beliefs and watching them kind of break down. But what do you guys think the title of the chapter means?
I hadn't thought about it.
I haven't either.
Yeah, this is the only time I haven't thought about it. Because it just didn't seem to fit
It
anywhere.
didn't really.
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of one of those you have to dig deeper to maybe like in the next episode it'll really be kind of more so explained. Maybe I don't know.
The one thing
But-
I did think of was that song, and since we get to see Den's face, so when we saw his face,
No, I'm a believer.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
What if that's the actual thing and we're just joking? Ha 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 ha. And it's like, no, that's literally what it is.
Yeah. We're trying to dig deep and figure out what this is.
Yeah, I honestly think it has more than one meaning to it, and it's just there's many layers, because that's the first thing I thought of after I was like, okay, so what was the believer? And the one that kind of got me thinking was more along the lines of like Cara Dune didn't trust him, and she showed him that Bill Burr's character, like, that you can trust him. So he kind of like made her a believer in the sense of like, just because you're part of the Empire doesn't mean you can't change, kind of like that type thing. That's kind of the way I went, especially after at the end when she did what she did with him. That was I mean, I highly doubt a whole episode was made off of that, but that's kind of where I was.
Well, I think you're right in that a lot of people kind of fit this. Yeah, the commander believes in the Empire. And I wonder if it's so. Mayfeld has all this talk about like, oh, we're all the same, and it doesn't matter who's in charge. One person rules, one person is ruled. But in the end, I think he makes it pretty clear that he does believe there's a difference between the Empire and the New Republic. But maybe it was just, I don't know that I would call him like the believer, though. That's what I'm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he has beliefs. Everyone, I saw someone in the chat say like everyone in the episode has some strong core belief, but I don't know that usually it refers to whoever the new character is. Almost every episode has referred to, the Marshal, the Jedi, the whatever.
Right.
Doesn't really fit here. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's exactly what I was going to say. In the way I think is like, okay, I look back at past episodes and you have the Jedi with Ahsoka, you have the Marshal with Cobb Vanth. It would make sense that it's Mayfield, but it also doesn't fit or it does fit, but it fits with a ton of other characters inside the episode. And maybe they're leaving it that way on purpose. And who knows, maybe it does come back at some point and we realize that it's about this character or it's about multiple characters in some capacity.
Makes sense.
What did
It's
everyone
probably
think of?
something
Okay.
super simple, and we're just kind of like,
Totally.
It might be the song
It's
thing.
the song. We're
Let's
gonna
go with
watch
the song.
we're gonna watch the behind the scenes Mandalorian season 2 thing. They're like, oh, it's just the song. We just really liked it.
Yeah.
And
He was just listening to it on his iPod and just like, that's what we're gonna name it.
there we go.
That's, in the future, John's going to name an episode like The Skywalker, and like Luke, Leia, no one will be in it, and we'll be losing our minds. Like, why do you do this?
I mean, maybe it's something to do with Mayfeld, like feeling responsible for a lot of stuff from back when he was an Imperial, and then in the end, when he gets to freaking blow that entire place up, and he says like, now I can sleep well at night. Like he believes that he can change and be a better person.
That's not a bad one.
Yeah, that's good. He believes that he can turn things around, and maybe before he didn't. I like that.
And that Din believes in him too for doing that.
Yeah,
And Kara.
I like that. Good job.
Molly
Cool.
nailed
Settled
it.
it.
All right. We'll just let Molly do the entire show.
Let me look at the rest of my notes here. Yeah.
What did everyone think of the very like video game chase from the village to the Imperial refinery?
Oh, here comes Professor Sean.
I thought that this, because there was another previous episode this season that to me felt very theme parky. It felt very Star
And Alex said
Tours
the
to
same
me.
thing.
I think Alex said the same thing. This one also felt the same to me, but it felt more like Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland. Like that's the whole vibe I got from this one. And that wasn't a shot at it. Like that was just me saying this is the vibe I got from it, and I enjoyed it because it felt like a fun, like Indiana Jonesy chase ride thing. Like not a shot at it, but that's just the thought that I got throughout it, and I dug the whole thing. I love a good chase scene, especially in Star Wars. Like you can't fault it.
If that is the case, Famua has an obsession with Indiana Jones because he did it.
You took what I was going to say.
The tank,
He did it with the Sandcrawler last year,
He did.
last season.
That's right.
And I enjoyed the chase. I thought it was a lot of fun. I compared it to on a much smaller level to a Mad Max style chase as well. Kind of taking on with the vehicle and stuff like that. I also enjoyed it so much just because it's Din outside of his element. He doesn't have his usual tech and armor and stuff, and he has to fight in a different way. And he clearly was at a disadvantage, but he still got through it. Being the only action scene in the whole, or really the big only action scene in the episode, I thought it was well done. And again, Famua can direct the heck out of something. He can really do something really well with action. He's proved it in 3 episodes so far. I have no problem with him doing this type of stuff.
Yeah, I really like to see.
I was going to let Brian speak before someone takes what he's going to say.
No one steals Brian's thoughts anymore.
Now, I might say something blasphemous, but it and I said it to Jake earlier. It reminded me of a Star Trek episode. Like,
Okay, yeah, let's just drop Brian.
yeah,
out.
okay. I think it honestly might have been the aliens that kind of made me feel that way. But I think the most interesting thing out of it was that he called them, and I said this to Jake also, that he called them pirates. But
See,
they
I'm
weren't.
glad you went first because like I was going to say this.
Yeah, and right before that, we had saw the camp, and it was more refugee kind of looking, and then we have a whole different species who maybe or may not be the actual natives of the planet because they're mining their mineral, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
and
Rhydonium.
yeah, the Rhydonium, and he's calling them pirates, but they're not stealing it; they're destroying it and stopping them. So
That's I thought the same thing, but it's like never really addressed again, and so I can't decide if it was just like, we need an action sequence, let's throw some pirates in. But I'm like, they're just trying to blow it up. They're not stealing it. What is happening here?
And one of the little side characters, when they made it in, goes, "Hey, you guys are the first ones to make it in today." And I'm like, again, if they were pirates, they probably would have just taken their stuff and left them. But they were full on destroying it and bouncing.
And that was a full on like
pirates hijack, terrorists destroy, or people trying to protect their land. So
and that was a full on like video game style wave of enemy.
They just kept on coming.
Where are all these pirates coming from when the village? Like I had kind of the same disconnect where the village was mostly human and near human species that we had seen in other Star Wars stuff, and then you have all this monoculture of all these aliens on these skiffs all coming from the same spot. Where are they all coming from, and why are we calling them pirates? Because they're not. I don't know.
It's more something that I'm just like, I wish they addressed it, because I'm like, I feel like Din just killed a bunch of innocent people.
Yeah.
I mean, they were attacking him, and it's not like he can be like, stop, I'm trying to save my son. And they'd be like, what?
I have a theory about this. In credits, if you look at the concept art, they're humans and not an alien species. So I'm like, I wonder if the original idea was to have them be the townspeople that they drove past, but then they're like, oh, Din is going to just kill all of them. Maybe we shouldn't show him killing innocent townspeople, and we'll just make him a separate alien species, and then it won't be as harsh.
This is truly Molly's show. This is, yeah.
I think the implication is the same though. He's like, he's killing people that are just trying to save their home. And I think maybe they're getting into like how far is he willing to go? How far is he willing to go against his personal code? Or maybe he's like devolving into who he was with the old crew. Just like, I'm willing to kill anyone to get to Grogu. Maybe they'll keep exploring that, like if he goes to a scary place with it.
I will say he was really good with that staff.
Yeah.
And I hope we get to see him.
Shadowing.
I hope we get to see him use that Beskar staff.
Okay, so they get into the refinery. They are the only people there. They go in to get they go to that terminal, and Molly and I were laughing about this, about how you just need to have like a face to access it. Like, I get that there was some confusion about that because they were like Finnick couldn't go in because her face is known, Boba's face is known, Kara's face is known. So like you couldn't have a face that was already in the registry, but it's also like just a new face pops up and it's like, oh yeah, here you go. All the
they don't even question it.
So I will take no credit from this. I will give Saul credit on this statement. But it is the Empire, and the Empire were built from a war against battle droids. So it's not relevant whose face it is. It's relevant that it's not
a face.
That it's a human face, because the Empire is xenophobic. They're anti-droid. That's the only relevant point, is that it's a human face, and that kind of fits. But yeah, I mean, I think you call it this morning space captcha. I mean, that's what it was. Like,
Just like, are you a human?
yeah,
Okay.
How many of these
All right.
squares have cars in them?
click on all the stoplights.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned to Alex earlier when we were walking Hilo that like I brought up, yeah, the Empire hates all alien species, so maybe they're just looking for a human face.
That's true. There are no real alien, like
Mm-mm.
other than Thrawn.
Yeah, Thrawn gets
His
a pass
face probably
because
still would've passed, though.
he's amazing.
Yeah. So I just
They're
it's funny
human
'cause-
enough.
yeah, exactly. And it's funny because the thing that caught me off guard the most was not them going like and doing that, and it was so easy. Was I was like, right before they went in, they were like, it's in the officers' lounge, and I'm like, oh, they're not officers, they're not going to be able to get in, and I just walked in, and there were officers everywhere, and I'm like, oh, all right, so anyone can go in the officers' lounge, and so I'm just like, I'm thinking like it's a private area, and no, just
Well,
anyone can go in there.
Din had a mark on his uniform.
Mhm.
that
Oh,
I
did
believe
okay.
designated officer. But yeah, this is like really the point I wanted to really get to and talk about, because this is when I went from like, this is an enjoyable episode
Yep.
to this was one of the best scenes in the show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which shout out to Richard Brake, who played that General Hess.
So good.
Killed it.
So good.
I really enjoyed the Southern officer as opposed to the English officer.
Yeah, that was different.
Nice kind of just switch on the
It
normal
was refreshing.
on the norm that we're used to.
That's a lot of the officers, like the Imperial officers that we've seen in Mando so far,
Mhm.
have not been British. I feel like.
A
All
lot
the
of them have
Brits
been
went off to
more
the First
American.
Order.
Yeah.
I mean, they're clearly not like caring about accents anymore. I mean, you have Bill Burr's Boston accent, now they have Southern. Like they're just like, screw it, just talk how you want to talk. Like,
Mm.
so I think it's kind of cool, and it's always just a hint more menacing when a Imperial has an accent. So I appreciate the subtle things.
Oh,
Are you scared of British people?
No, not I don't. Maybe all
Confirm.
accents. Yeah. Confirm it. Write it. Sign it. It's
Ryan is scared of British people.
there we go.
I will say, jumping forward just a tad bit to when Din ultimately takes his helmet off and he's got that whole sequence where he doesn't have his helmet on. I love the fact that he looked so incredibly nervous
Yeah.
without the helmet on, like a deer in the headlights, where he just didn't know what to do. Like he didn't know really what he was doing, where he was going. He just looked like a completely different character without his helmet on. And then obviously you have Bill Burr come in and throw some comedy in there and call him Brown Eyes and like all this type of stuff to kind of crack it up a little bit. But yeah, I thought it was a brilliant move. They could have easily just not done anything with that and just kind of moved on. But to add that to the character, because the helmet has become such a big thing in this show, it's a really smart move on their part in the writing.
And it was so good being able to see his face and his eyes, especially when Mayfeld is talking with the officer when they're all sitting down for a drink, and just seeing Din like look at him like, please don't, please don't.
Yeah, he does that little nod, like, mm-mm.
I loved all of that.
I think that might have been one of my favorite parts, just because you could see just the way Bill Burr was like, just his posture and how his face was reacting. Like you could see the wheels were falling off. Like it was slowly cracking, and almost to a point where Din was just like, all right, well, here we go. And he's literally just going like, like those cartoons where the eye starts tweaking, like he's waiting for that to happen, and then just he can't take it anymore, and bye-bye.
We've seen so many people, and I Molly and I both thought this on our first watch as well. It's that scene in Inglourious Bastards where they're all downstairs in the bar, and you're like, all these people are going to shoot each other. You just don't know why and when and how.
Yeah.
And I think like Din and the audience just know that Mayfeld is going to shoot that dude, and you're just like, what's going to set him over the edge? and Din's over there shaking his head like, please don't, please don't. And then they executed, like, that whole conversation was great. The shot goes off, like, that was still just this huge release of tension. And then they jumped onto some comedy with that shore trooper who's just like,
Just, like, for a split second, I thought the stormtrooper was just gonna look and then just like turn around and pretend like he didn't say anything. I
Holding
swear
his
that
tray
was gonna
like
happen.
he's just holding his tray like I'm so hungry though.
I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not a part of this.
I bet that's probably something they shot and decided, nah,
No.
it's
Yeah.
I jumping back, I love that the battle, I love that they have the Operation Cinder reference in there. And they reference Star Wars Uprising. I could say some words, but this is a family show. The terrible mobile game that came out in like 2016, right when Lucasfilm bought when Lucasfilm announced they're doing all the new stuff. It was the first like set after Episode 6, and it was on Burn-In Con, and it was we get Dark Troopers in that and all that kind of stuff. And again, we're getting a second reference to that stupid game in The Mandalorian. I don't get it. I
I never played it. I don't have an opinion on it.
It's not. It wasn't.
You're
It was
not
just
mismatched.
It was just Clash of Clans with Star Wars.
Pew, pew.
Like,
We also get a reference before this, but the Battle of Tanab. That's he says that's how he kind of like got hard of hearing.
But he calls it
And I
TNAB.
missed that. 2 times I missed that.
Yeah, he says this is brown. He lost his hearing at the Battle of Tanab.
Yeah.
That might be why you missed it, because he doesn't
That's
say
why.
Tanab. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah,
I
we
just
need to
like how
tap
he's
that.
like Din's just kind of like looking.
Yep.
And he's like, "This is
Yep.
brown eyes." And it's just like, I'm not gonna do anything.
I love that the general buys it like
Yeah.
easily. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, he starts yelling at him even louder right after. Oh, that was good. That was good.
The conversation between him and Mayfield, and like Mayfield just like slowly starts to kind of lose it a little bit and starts
Mhm.
being like, yeah, a lot of people died. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
there. And just the tension between those two was insanely good.
I thought
To
this was
me-
one of the best acted scenes of the
Me
entire
too.
series.
Me
I
too.
agree.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and to me, that's a sign of an incredible filmmaker when they can capture something like that. When they're just sitting there at a table talking, and you feel that coming through the screen, and then you get performances on that on top of that. Just adding to what Famuyiwa can do as a director in Star Wars. Give me something like this all day. I'll take it all day long.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny too because like you're like, oh no, he's getting upset, and it's like
I know. I was freaking out. I was like, "Oh no, stop! No, stop! What you're saying?
Yeah.
No, you're gonna blow your
And then-
cover. No, stop!"
well, the guy
And then he
keeps
just
like saying
straight
the
up
worst
shoots him,
thing,
and-
and
I
you're like,
know.
oh no, and you're like you could see him kind of like, and then he says something again. You're like, oh no, like it's just kept getting worse, and then of course,
He has a line that's he said something like, people don't want freedom, they want order.
Yes.
And that reminded me a lot of Hux and his speech
Mhm.
on Starkiller Base. He says that they'll bring order. And I was like, yep, just shoot
mean,
them,
that's-
please.
That's
Shoot
the
them,
lie of
please.
the Empire, that they bring order that
Mhm.
at the cost of everything else. So yeah, they blow their cover. They get out the roof. Boba Fett swoops in, picks them up, and then they fly it away. And when that back hatch opened, I just like
Lost it.
I did the big
Yep.
Yoda, like both hands up in the air. We knew. I figured it was going to happen. Once the Slave One shows up, it's like, okay, they have to drop a seismic charge at some point, right?
never
But-
crossed my mind.
So I'm with
I was
Brian.
waiting for it.
I was waiting for some kind of fight like we saw in episode 4 of the season with the Razor Crest. It never crossed my mind that we would see a seismic charge. So I was totally surprised and happily surprised. But I also did the Baby Yoda, and I threw my hands up in the air and I lost it. The way it looks it's such a beautiful look. and the sound and everything is just incredible. I'm so happy they included it, even if it's the biggest fan service ever.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy they
The
included
sound
that.
gives me goosebumps. Like, is that weird? Like, just when I hear the sound of like I go, whoo!
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I just love the sound of it.
I genuinely wanted Finnick or Kara to just be like, that sounded awesome as they walked.
Right?
I mean, they did kind of have a moment. Where they were looking up and they're like,
It was
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect it. I figured his turrets at the bottom would just turn and he'd just shoot him down and then just keep going. But then when I saw that hatch open, I went, oh no, I didn't even cross my mind that this thing could actually come out. And then you hear that classic noise and you're just like, oh,
So good.
that's fan service.
I came in at the right time.
The seismic charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. Sean, what did you think about the seismic charge?
I loved it.
He freaked out. He was
I
like,
loved it.
like
I love that.
that's what I
It's my
said.
favorite noise.
It gives me goosebumps. Like yep.
Do you
Love
listen to that while you fall asleep? Is that your
Every
ASMR?
once
Just
in a while.
seismic charge.
I may or may not.
Constantly.
I may or may not have it on my soundboard.
Oh goodness!
Ooh.
Oh goodness!
So yeah, we're almost to the end of the episode here. They reunite, and basically all that is left. Oh, there's 2 scenes left. We let Mayfeld go. Which part of me, I'm like, I like that he was absolutely willing to go back to jail.
Mhm.
I feel like he definitely grew as a person. If I were in Kara's place, I'd be like, yep, let's go back to jail, I think. You did some good stuff here, but you know, you were still accessory to murder. So.
I agree. I think that it might have been a little too quick of a turn since they didn't have like a ton of time together between Kara and Mayfield. It was just because of the act he did, and that also shows that Grogu is also very important to Din and even Kara at this point, because she was willing to do that after what he did for Din to get Grogu back. And so, yeah, I may not agree with how quick it was or the fact that it happened, but there is some levity to it just because of the act that he did.
I honestly thought that Kara was going to take him with her because, like, she was like, "Hey, nice shooting. We could use that in the Rebel
Rangers.
the
Rangers of the New Republic.
Yeah, we could use that nice shooting in the Rangers." Like, I thought they were going to go with that trope, and so I was expecting that to happen, and then they just kind of like let him go on his merry way, which I was also kind of confused with that because I was like, are they just going to let him wander off on like this planet?
That's what I mean, there's a little village a few miles away.
Yeah, but like this planet was like kind of basically being invaded by the Empire. Now we're just gonna like let him mosey on his way. Like,
I thought the same thing too. He's like in the middle of a jungle. They fly off, and I'm like, I would have wanted to go back to jail. Like,
yeah, like, he's just stuck on this
At
island.
least he gets fed in jail.
Yeah, he's on this planet now.
Yeah, I mean,
he knew about the planet, so maybe he knows that there's civilization elsewhere. Maybe close
Yeah.
by.
So,
fair. I mean, if it does have rhydonium deposits, I'm sure there's other. I mean, I don't know what I'd say that like I know what rhydonium is. I don't. I'm sure it's something important. But if it's got some sort of mineral they need, there's got to be people there mining it other than just the Empire, right? I mean, so. But yeah, I was kind of he'll survive.
He's gonna
live.
fight
I
in
was
the
kind of
battle
expecting
of
him to be. I was kind of expecting him to be tied in, like, because this whole season, I think now that we've got that reveal yesterday, we're kind of seeing a lot of this was tie-ins for future stuff.
Mhm.
I was kind of expecting him to be a tie-in to Rangers or something.
He still
You
might
know.
be.
He still might be, yeah.
I hope so, to be honest, because I want more of him.
Yeah, after his character development, I loved him. I mean,
Yeah.
I was in the same spot. Episode 6 last season, I was like, don't need to see him again. But after today, I'm like, okay, I want more Bill Burr.
Yeah, we want more Bill Burr in our
You're gonna
lives.
say that, and he's gonna be the lead of the show, and you're gonna go, okay.
All right. Too much Bill Burr.
Too much Bill Burr.
Too much Bill Burr.
So our final scene of this chapter is the big like Taken moment. Din's basically,
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, so buckle up speech, which I really love that he was just throwing Moff Gideon's words right back at him,
Mhm.
and B, instead of saying like, you have no idea how much it means to me, saying like you have no idea how much he means to me.
Mhm.
I've been waiting for him to like stop treating Grogu as his mission or quest and just be like, no, that's my boy, and I love him.
That
and
is
I'm gonna
my
get him.
child.
So
that whole speech those are the words of a desperate father who at this point has nothing to lose. He is all in.
Yeah, I know when he did it, I was just like, "That's my boy." Yeah, he's going after his baby. He's going after him. But yeah, it's funny because even though it's literally just, I mean, the hologram's literally just him like this. Like you see no facial emotion, nothing. Like you could hear it and feel it, and like even imagine like him under the mask being like, "I'm coming for you."
Mhm.
And you're just like, oh, okay, yes, this is what we're waiting for. So
I also love that it's no surprise. Like he's not going to surprise Gideon. He's not going to try and sneak onto the ship. He's letting him know straightforward. Look, man, I'm coming for you right now. Like you can do whatever you need to do to prepare, but I'm getting him back. And that sets up something really big for the next episode. But yeah, I think that the way it happened and went down was awesome. You could kind of see a little bit of fear in Gideon a little bit. The first time we kind of got that look from him. But yeah, I thought it was a great end to the episode. It's a great segue into what's going to happen next. I'm really happy they included something like that.
Well, Jake, what you were just saying is a great segue into some of our first questions because they are very relevant. And I'm skipping a couple at the top. I'll go right back to them, but only because I see that this one is from Cosmoners. Thanks so much. As satisfying as Mando's hologram speech to Gideon was, didn't he give up a huge tactical advantage, the element of surprise? I
don't think he cares at this point.
I don't think he does either.
And to what Molly just said, and I'm not a father, by I mean I'm a dog father, but I'm not a father. If you're a desperate human being willing to get a loved one back, nothing will stop you. Mm-hmm. There will be nothing ever to stop you. And if it's something like Grogu, where it's just this little thing that you're protecting that's kind of become part of you, he's not going to let anything get in his way. And surprise does not matter to him.
It also could have been like, he may know that there's no way that they can sneak up on Gideon. And he knows that by sending this message, he's really getting under his skin. Because you could see it in his eyes. He was just like, Gideon was like, just annoyed that he was using the same words against him. So yeah, I think that was kind of a tactic to get under his skin a little bit.
Or
so
maybe it's like
that way when they do show up, Gideon will let them on because his pride is so far up there that he's like, yeah, sure, bring it on.
Well, I mean, he's kind of got a murderer's row of like 4 of the deadliest people we've seen in Star Wars. Like 4 of the deadliest non-Force users, at least. I mean,
and Gideon does not know that.
And that's where I would go. Yeah.
Like, you've got Boba frickin' Fett.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Gideon's reaction when if that does happen, Boba and Gideon, because Gideon has to know about him from all the dealings with the Empire and Boba, and if that does happen where he's involved, that reaction is going to be awesome.
In the background of the hologram, though, Boba Fett's like repainting his armor. Like, ruined everything. I also like the idea that like I'm just desperate to see Bo-Katan again. So I'm really hopeful that like on the way to Gideon, I just want him to shoot a text to like at the start of the episode, he'll contact someone and they'll be like, "Who is that?" He's like, "I'll tell you later." And then like as a surprise attack, Bo-Katan could come swooping in to get her Darksaber back.
It could also be kind of a confluence of events thing because we don't know that Gideon isn't on his way to Mandalore or on his way to Concord Dawn or Concordia or something. Sure. And, you know, conveniently Bo-Katan shows up. I mean, at this point, that's kind of what happens, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, they had to work hard to find his coordinates. So I like the idea that he'd be like, "Hey, Bo-Katan, I know you're after Gideon and that's where we're going. And here you go."
Yeah.
Yeah. I with the element of surprise. Yeah. Okay. Maybe him, but like we said, he doesn't know that he's not just alone. I mean, you show up with a crew, then you're like, okay, that's a little bit different. So, I mean, I think it's just kind of like, guess what? I'm coming for you. And it's like, okay. But other than that, he doesn't know what to expect. So
that's something I was noticing about this season that I think is doing better than season 1, where a lot of season 1 episodes, we would get to the end and you'd be like, I liked that, but I don't know how it fits into the larger picture. And they've done a better job with especially the siege and this episode, where as long as you just cut back to Gideon and just let us know what he's up to, I think that goes a long way in making every episode feel like it's part of the overall story. And so I'm glad that they've done stuff like that, where I would consider this one of the side quest episodes. Still really loved it, and it was necessary to get to Gideon. But it feels like we could have just gone straight to Gideon. They could have not written in the like, oh, well, we need to find his coordinates. But they're doing a much better job, I think, of tying all of the side quest episodes into the main arc.
Mhm.
I agree.
Agreed.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a quote unquote throwaway episode.
Yeah. I think James Barney over at Resistance Broadcast put it well. He was saying that this didn't feel like a part 1 of 2 of like the big last 2 episodes. And that's kind of what I was expecting. So
Yeah.
I had to kind of sit with that after seeing it for the first time. I was like, okay, well then the last episode, a lot has to happen.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the reason I was like iffy about the episode for the first half. But by the end, I was just like on board with okay, it's adventure of the week, but it's still moving forward on this one goal. And I just assumed that the final episode will hopefully be as long as the Marshal or longer.
Hopefully longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Ted Comet, what's up, man? Thank you for your super chat. Hey, Molly, what made this episode different from all the others?
No Goku.
Oh,
They could have shown him in a little baby jail cage or so. Just so I
walking
knew he
down
was
the hallway.
okay.
is he still in his tiny
Yeah.
cups?
He's waddling with little cups.
He also asks, if someone came to you with Grogu and said you could have real life Grogu, but you had to burn all of his merch, would you accept?
Yes.
Yes.
Even the sideshow one? Yeah.
But
you
but
get-
for real
Get
Grogu.
real.
But I don't
oh.
want to take him away from Den, but yeah.
I was waiting for her
Den.
to go,
What if it
light
was
him
Den
up.
saying-
Light it up.
What if it was
Light
Den
up.
saying, will you babysit him for a day and I'll be back for him? But you also have to, would you sacrifice all of your merch for one day with Baby Yoda?
Yes. I would buy it all again.
Taylor Elton, thanks for your question. Hey guys, why did Mando grow a mustache? Because it's great. It's even well groomed. 2, has Cara Dune told the New Republic about Gideon? Could reinforcements be on the way? Yeah, that's another option.
I didn't even think about that.
I wonder if the
Yeah.
New Republic would care. Like, I think Carson would care because I love him, but I don't know that the New Republic is going to take that seriously. They seem to do a lot of putting their heads in the sand about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting the New Republic to swoop in and save the day.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
kind of what we
I don't-
get. That's kind of what causes the resistance to form, isn't it? Is
Yep.
just
Yeah.
lack of action.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's fair.
Midwestern Nerf Herder, thanks for your question. With only one episode left in the season, do you think we will see the Jedi that Grogu contacted or Thrawn in the last episode? P.S. What about a CG Thrawn voiced by Mark Thompson? They're not going to do a CG Thrawn.
No.
Like when you can just paint a man blue.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the Blue Man Group do it.
How hard can it be?
I think no for everything.
I'm after seeing this episode, I'm starting to kind of lean with Brian on this one.
No Jedi or Thrawn or anything like that.
I don't think we see Thrawn for sure. The Jedi, because I mean they could literally plant whoever the Jedi is in the last minute of the show, and that counts as appearing. But I don't think whoever it is going to be a big part of the finale, if at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. What I'm expecting is a Darksaber style hook, like one last scene to get us talking and freaking out on Twitter. Something will trend. Whether it's Thrawn or Luke or another Jedi, something. I think something is going to show up in the last scene that'll make us all lose our minds. If I had to guess, Thrawn and a Jedi both seem likely to me.
I think if we see a Jedi, it'll be
or equally likely. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I don't think they're both going to happen.
I know. I was like, they're both going to show up.
No. I could see them both happening. I don't know which one is more likely.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would do something similar to the Gunslinger, and for the very last scene of the finale, we go back to Tython and we just see a hand placed on the stone.
That's good.
I was going to say a lightsaber ignited. That's what I was going to where it ignites into the screen and then it cuts black.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Is we're not going to know who it is or see their face, but there's going to be some subtle hint of
now
it's a Jedi.
When you say hand, do you mean cybernetic hand?
Or
I mean
hand.
a gloved hand. So we
So we don't know.
Maybe it'll be Maul's bottom half.
The legs, just the legs running around.
I really like your idea about going back to Tython, though.
I like that
someone
too.
is on the trail, not necessarily like, okay, and now I found Grogu.
Yeah, and we joked when that episode aired afterwards that whatever Jedi got called, it's like once by the time they get there, they're all gone, and the Jedi's gonna be like,
It's like
another
being
prank call.
Yeah.
Fair. I don't think anyone will show up personally.
Yeah.
Ever. I think the most, if I had to guess, I think the most you'll get is a Force Ghost. I don't think anyone's ever going to show up.
I was hoping maybe he would see a Force Ghost while he was on the Seeing Stone, but
That's my heart wants Grogu to choose Din and not a Jedi.
Yeah.
Like, I want Din to be like, okay, I'll figure out how to raise a force-sensitive toddler. Let's do this.
Jake, you would lose your mind if it was Qui-Gon.
Well, yeah, of course. And I know
I don't think it'll be a Force Ghost.
No,
I know.
I'm interested. I'm more interested in when Grogu was on the Seeing Stone, if he was essentially just beaming up and setting a signal, or if he was actually having a vision. That's what I'm more interested in, because we don't know at this point. I'm also wondering if he sees things different inside the beam than what Din sees on the outside. Like Din can't see inside the beam, but Grogu is seeing this whole thing play out. I know his eyes were closed, but I mean, who knows what could be happening? And that's what I'm more interested at this point is if a Jedi shows up, awesome. If he doesn't, cool. But I want to know if it was actually a vision or if it was just really a beam, essentially saying, hey, I'm here, come find me.
Sure. Nightmare, thanks for your question. Haven't watched the episode yet. I will tomorrow. I just wanted to say I love you guys and thanks for helping me through high school. Oh, you're welcome. Sorry you're not here anymore. I saw them talking earlier. Ted Comet, thanks for the question. Each of you, what's your favorite Star Wars memory? Mine's my dad taking me out of high school for a doctor's appointment the same day episode 1 came out.
nice.
My favorite.
Maybe
For
seeing
me-
The Force Awakens.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lead up, and we actually had a group of 15 for that premiere.
Yeah,
And it was-
we filled up
massive.
almost a whole row or maybe 2 rows.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
I don't know if I would say it's my my oldest, furthest back that I can clearly remember is going to the theater with my dad and in Attack of the Clones and freaking out when Yoda lit his lightsaber. Just being like, oh my God, he's using a lightsaber. So I think I'd like that just because it's my oldest one that I can actually clearly, purely remember. So probably that one.
For me, it's back to my childhood. I grew up with the prequel series, so watching episode 1 with my best friends at the time, and then we would play the the Star Wars NES game where you play as Luke and you're like shooting like Jawas, and then playing the N64 pod racer game. Like, we were obsessed with that back in the day. So for me, that's probably some of my my oldest memories of Star Wars, some of my favorites, just because it bonded me and my friends together really with our really weird obsession with strictly episode 1 of Star Wars.
I admit this one is up there for me.
It was yesterday.
For me, it's probably either running around with lightsabers with my younger cousin, or the first time I went to Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, I wish I had filmed
Rub
that.
it in.
I'm so mad I didn't film that. It was a moment. Like, he had to take a couple moments. It was pretty magical.
I'm an adult.
My second choice was going to be Star Wars Celebration. Just either of the ones that we've gone to so far. It was amazing.
Rub it in, Molly. The three of us were going to go time this year.
2022. Daniel Zlatkin, thanks for your question. Do you think Gideon could have killed or irreparably, don't say this, Molly, or irreparably damaged Grogu, which is why he reacts to Din's message nonchalantly? Absolutely not.
No.
There's no way that people would lose their damn minds if they did anything to that baby.
I would lose my damn mind.
Yeah, people would literally stop watching.
They wouldn't be able to sell merchandise anymore.
Well, they would.
It wouldn't be the merch you want.
Well, how badly do you want to watch or buy anything Razor Crest now, Sully?
Oh.
I mean, I didn't want to in the first place. So
Fine.
Molly, have you thrown his Razor Crest Lego yet to make it realistic?
I still like the Lego. I don't want to break the Lego.
not that I hate the Razor Crest. I just, I'd buy something Slave 1 long before I'd buy.
A Razor Crest?
I agree with you, Sean. That's okay.
What did I do to my chair?
Where did you go?
Now we have 3 versions of the Lego Razor Crest, so maybe one of the smaller ones I can break.
Which?
You can break the one that we just built in the Advent calendar.
The tiniest one.
Yeah.
Is there a little Star Wars Lego Advent calendar?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so
it came in the bag screen accurate in pieces, and you put it together.
I put it together.
I prefer it that way. Young Fly Flashy 318, thanks for the question. How awesome was Din's Liam Neeson impression? And do you think feeling those kinds of strong emotions from Din could push Grogu to the dark side?
I've honestly kind of had this subtle feeling that Grogu may potentially turn to the dark, but not like Sith wise, like super evilly, but like kind of treading on that, like, you're not dark side, but you're also not like an A student Jedi either. Like,
he's the CD student.
That is the strangest description of
I didn't know how to
gray Jedi.
I didn't. Oh, is that what it's called?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's explicitly not.
You got an
called
F in not stealing snacks from your classmates.
See, he's stealing things. He's already not like prime Jedi material. He's
I like that you say. I like how he's bad to you because he's stealing snacks. Not that he force choked Cara Dune, lit a flame trooper on fire.
He force choked stormtroopers. Like, he's not the sweet little summer sweet child that we know him. I think he's got a little feistiness in him. And when they said they're going to reach out to a Jedi, I was like, what if it's not a Jedi?
Force choking feisty.
I want to defend that boy with the cookies did nothing wrong. He was trying to defend his father when Kara was arm wrestling him. He was defending his father with the flame trooper. The snacks, he just straight up was like, I want that. It's mine because I can. Which I do think is like, it's what Kuiil was saying in season 1. Like, we're all programmable and the baby is right now in programming mode. and he's around his father who is constantly shooting people, and he's always watching it. So yeah, I think that a lot of this show is going to be Din like, oh, I got to stop killing people in front of the baby.
Oops.
I hope at some point he comes with a little black hood.
A little hood.
Yeah, I mean,
Just start talking. Yeah.
like
Like Kingdom Hearts Mickey, he just has like the black hood with just like the ears poking out. Like,
I mean, ultimately, kind of, if he's not a Jedi or a Sith, right? He's just Force. If he just ends up being just Force sensitive, does it really matter if he's dark side or light side as long as he's not going around committing mass murder? I mean,
then we have a solid day.
Yeah.
As long as you don't commit mass murder, you're okay in my book.
I mean, I think that would be really.
Din's like counting the days, like, okay, we've had 7 days since one event.
7 days since a
last
murder.
fork choke.
7 days since no murder.
It's an oopsie daisy. No more oopsies.
But I think that would be a really interesting take of like a Mandalorian or just a non-force sensitive person trying their best to raise a light side force sensitive. Like, please be good.
It's a
quick
learning
one
experience for both of them.
Quick one from Lord Hosk. Do any of you like turtles?
I like turtles.
Well, let's just jump ahead. SFC Pruitt 101. Thanks for your super chat. Says Molly Alex, I like turtles. I don't know what this is about, but I'm glad
I'm
you're
here
having
for
fun
it.
through it.
I like turtles.
Joshua Spad, thanks for your question. Super random about last week's ep. Have we seen those Imperial dropships before? They seemed like predecessors to the First Order ones to me. I think that was on purpose, and those are new ships.
Yeah.
I don't know if they are necessarily like. I can't decide if that's just something the Empire used and we never saw it, or if we are seeing the transition from, because it kind of looked like a bit of a TIE Reaper moving into the First Order transport. We could be seeing some First Order transition stuff here.
Well, I mean, the big thing is a Lambda shuttle wouldn't fit in that, in the Arctens.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's kind of a thing of necessity that when you have that small,
Yeah.
the small Star Destroyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Ships
And
and
we're back.
ship names and things.
Right, so Ronan, thanks for the question. I have a feeling we'll be seeing Bo-Katan's Gazanti next episode to attack Gideon's cruiser by the end. Also, how great is Richard Brake? 11 out of 10 performance. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That's someone I had to look him up because I was like, I know this guy. He killed Batman's parents in Batman Begins.
How dare he?
Well, he's just a real bad guy, isn't
You're
he?
just a real meanie.
I saw him tweeting just like thanking people for saying nice things about the episode today. And I was just, I love seeing, I've seen a lot of actors on this series just getting like positive response, and it makes me happy.
Yeah.
Like him, Paul Soon-Hyung Lee, who plays Carson Teva.
That's great.
I love seeing people who are like fans of Star Wars be like, I was in a Star War and people like it, and I'm so happy.
Are you gonna say it?
Am I going to say what?
Who he was?
Who? The commander?
Yeah. You said it earlier.
I'm blinking.
He was the Night King.
Oh, that in Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, was
yeah,
he really?
Yeah.
Aren't Brian and
Thank
Jake
you.
such a cute couple?
They are.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. I totally forgot. Yeah, he played the Night King in when the Night King was like present in season 4 and 5, like full on there.
Brian, you could have just stolen that and said it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You should
I
have
know.
said,
Just
Hey,
do it.
now,
Jake steals things from you.
The wrath of hearing it later is not worth it.
Yes, perfect couple.
Are a cute couple.
Yep.
Ted, thanks for another super chat. Kara, I can't break the rules. Din, but the baby that tried to kill you is gone. Kara, well, that changes things. That's true. That is true. The baby tried to kill Kara, and it's so cute that Kara
She
will
just
do
doesn't
anything to save her.
I mean, by the season finale of the first season, she was back in love.
Yeah.
She gave him a little ear rub.
Can't stay mad at you. Oh, what's up, Kylie Petrano? Thanks for the question. So, slow week in Star Wars. Sure. Since this is the season of dream characters, aka Alex's husband, is he? Oh, he's turned sideways. Cobb Vanth is still back there.
Oh no.
What other characters would you like to see in the finale? Honestly, I think I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah. I got Ahsoka. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Same.
With what we've had, I mean,
This is more than I thought we were going to get. So I'm happy as can be with what we have received this season.
we're saying this, and then like some bomb of a character is gonna come, and we're gonna be like,
show up.
how did we not think of him? He was the best.
I mean, I still, if Thrawn were to be in the final episode, I'll lose my mind. Like the idea that we're getting 2 other shows that tie into Mando has made me like relax a lot. It's just like, okay, Thrawn isn't necessarily going to take over the Mandalorian. He might be the big bad for this whole effort.
Mhm.
And that was my big worry in chapter 13. But like, if they bring in Thrawn for just the end of the season, it won't worry me the way that it did a couple weeks ago.
I'd be down if they bring in Thrawn for just a little bit for the finale. Just make it a hologram message. Like he's off doing his own thing. He's obviously a very busy man. Whatever happens to Gideon, maybe he makes it out alive and he gets a message from Thrawn, and it's just like that's the end.
I think my preferred, just the way I see it playing in my mind, is the other way around. Is Gideon contacts Thrawn, but like we see the hologram, we don't know who he's talking to. And then like as the camera turns, like the organ music picks up from Star Wars Rebels. And then like I'll know. And then we'll like see him step out of the shadows. I'm basically just replaying the Star Wars Rebels season 3 trailer. Yep. Because I love that trailer. That's what moments.
They could not even show him, and like Gideon could have a last line be something like contact the Chimera.
Yeah.
And people would be like, what's that? And everybody who knows what it is would be like, ah.
Yeah, that's a really good hook.
And if you heard his voice and the way he talks, you would know pretty immediately if you know Thrawn at all. So
I think even if it is a new character, you would still recognize the voice because it's a very iconic intonation. I'm kind of in the camp that I've seen enough cameo characters and reference characters. But in the spirit of the question, Quinlan Voss.
That's your wish for Jedi.
That's my hope for which Jedi it is. If we're not getting Luke, someone that survived Order 66.
You mean you don't want me to?
No.
No.
I don't.
I would say Barasafi just because I'm so curious about her, but if she has a chance in showing up in live action, now I'm thinking it would be the Ahsoka show.
Agreed.
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
I'm
hoping she's the villain for Fallen Order. Fallen Order 2.
That's good.
That is good.
I could just imagine that.
Chad, thanks for your question. Do you think Mando will ever paint his armor so he's not just a shiny target anymore? I do think he will, but he seems to love getting shot. He is so willing to jump in front of bullets or blaster bolts. Just like, no, I can take it.
I mean, he tried to do it on top of the little caterpillar train from this episode, and then he got smacked and his stuff was breaking off. So that's a lot of paint. That's a lot of paint to just keep having to
borrow from Boba Fett. Boba Fett is plenty of paint.
Well, I think he'd paint it red too, because that's kind of what his first set of armor had, some red tint to it.
I think that it's kind of like the Mudhorn, his signet. I think it's like something that will be revealed to him over time. That it'll speak to him, whatever. It needs to have some meaning, but I do think he will paint it eventually. It'll be like another upgrade for his armor.
He's gonna paint a little Grogu face on the side.
That's it.
Well, I was gonna say he
Maybe
can't
he'll
do
let
green.
Grogu finger paint it.
Yes! He's like you can paint one piece.
Just
it's
like the shin is just like all kinds of painted on, and then like everything else is like
He's
one
gonna
of the
just-
cauldrons just is like a mess of colors.
He's just gonna walk in one day, and it won't even be like the baby will have gotten into the arts and crafts, and now his armor is a mess, and he's gonna have to like go fight someone wearing hot pink armor.
yes.
And there's a new Funko Pop.
Yeah, oh, there we go. Merchandise.
He's gonna put the paint on his hand and put it right over Din's heart. Put his little-
Oh.
Oh.
Ted, thanks for another question. How many missiles did Cobb buy? Because he used 2 in season 2, episode 1, and Boba used 1 in season 2, episode 6. This is an interesting question because I got the sense that Cobb's missiles for the pack were like homemade.
They looked like it.
Looked different. And then Boba comes along in the last chapter, and it's like the classic missile for his pack. And I was like, have you just been carrying that around? Because Din didn't have that.
Strapped to his leg under the
Yeah.
cloak.
Just
Maybe Din did have them. Like maybe they can be multi-purpose, and Boba just found one, but
Yeah.
I don't know where that missile came from.
Well, obviously, like maybe it wasn't Boba's, and that's why he didn't hit his exact target. he was like, I was aiming for the other one. This is not my missile, so you know.
Well, I assumed that he missed because of the jetpack repairs.
Mm.
That too. Yeah.
Oh,
He's just
I didn't
like,
think
you know,
about
He's like, guys, I'm a little rusty. I gotta
It's his
get
first
used to
time
it.
back in armor.
Kind of
Killed like 9 people, and then okay, I missed one shot, but it worked out being better anyway. So you're forgiven. Jetblast 190, thanks for the question. I really enjoyed how they showed the inner workings of Slave One as it transitions from the landing attitude to the flight attitude. Very cool. Yep, we agree.
Mhm.
We talked about that early on.
I could just see Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau just geeking out over like what that's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were excited about it. Like, okay, and then we're going to go inside the Slave One. Wait a minute, how does that work? And then
that.
It was perfect.
Mike Giab, thanks for the question. I hope Den gets another rifle to replace the destroyed one.
Yeah,
that's
R.I.P. the pulse rifle.
Well, now that we saw that Boba has his EE3 back, Din might take the cycler rifle.
That's true.
I'm still going to miss the pulse rifle.
Yeah.
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 You can buy one from Nerf. They put the fake one.
Doc Undar has one.
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge on his wall.
There you go.
I
Jane
wouldn't-
Dalton, what's up? Thanks for the question. Sorry to say this, Molly, but do y'all think that something happened to Grogu and that's why we didn't see any cuts to what was going on with him?
No.
Molly keeps making that face.
He's
I don't like that
Oh,
people
no.
think something bad has happened to him. Like
He is fine. Nothing's, I mean, they may have taken some blood.
No.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
No.
Yeah.
We're not allowed.
It's happened before. He's fine.
I mean, if it's the same Dr. Pershing, he knew to just take a little. He's like he's a little donor.
He seemed nice, that guy. He seemed okay.
What if he is in the next episode and helps out?
I would love
I
that.
hope
That's the call.
that I could definitely see
I could
that.
see that.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense. It would fit with the character.
Yeah. He
Just-
seems to care.
Mhm.
Let him redeem himself, and hopefully he says something like, you know what, none of our experiments have gone right. Just
Take
take
him.
him. Like, this is terrible. Kill me.
He would 100%. Jesus.
I was hoping that maybe he would like help more than just like, yeah, here you go, shoot me.
I could see it being like him doing the honorable nice thing and then immediately getting killed like within a second after doing it. Like, be free. Boom. Someone shoots him. No, you're not going free.
Yeah.
Sorry, Molly.
But I think it was a conscious decision to not have Grogu in this episode because it does make us go like, is he okay? And then when we get reunited with him next week, it'll be that much sweeter. Don't worry, Molly. He's fine.
And his little bite.
You said that last time, but
And I'm not wrong. Jesse Zaksheshki. Oh my god, I'm sorry for what I just did to your name. TPS reports are now canon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
love that.
Jacob the Hodge, seismic charge go blah.
That was good.
Ryan Hammond, I got a super chat from you. No question. I will check my DMs from our mods to see if it's in there. But in the meantime, Louis Lombardi, thank you for your question. The best part of the episode was when the Storm and Shore Troopers came in to save the day and then acted all proud of themselves for actually winning one.
Oh yeah.
That's interesting. I meant to bring that up. It's like we actually get to see the Empire like celebrate and be happy for each other, like pat each other on the back, and they're all just like, "We did it!"
And I love the music notes in that scene with like the heroic kind of.
Just made him feel like the good guys.
Yeah. It's a very strange little passage of time in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and Mayfield even throws in like a woo when the TIE fighters come.
I mean,
Which
he
is
was
good.
relieved. He didn't want to explode.
Yeah.
But I think that it kind of goes along with, because I guess I did have this moment of sympathy for the stormtroopers and the shore troopers, and what Mayfeld was talking about is like the Mandalorians that were sent off to die, the Imperials who were sent off to die, they didn't like know, they didn't have a choice. They were just told to do this thing. And it's like, that is all the stormtroopers and the shore troopers is some of them signed up and some of them were conscripted and some of them were lied to. And that's a line in Lord of the Rings too. Faramir talking about like, he has to kill other humans. And he's like, what lies do you think Sauron told them to get them to come fight us? And he didn't want to kill these people, but that's all right. I'm sorry.
I'm with you, Alex.
Sean knows what you're saying.
I just had to throw it in.
I still can't get Jill to watch those.
I fall asleep. I can't do it.
Jill.
Sorry, I
They're
know.
on 4K now and they're beautiful.
I know.
Kylie, thanks for another super chat. So do you think we could get a Jedi sighting in the finale or have another big reveal at the end like we did last year with the Darksaber? I do think that'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think they know how to work Twitter.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it dominates my feed every Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna say no Jedi. Yes, big reveal.
Yeah.
Well, then what's the reveal?
Brian just wants it to be Thrawn.
Brian just wants Thrawn so bad.
No, I actually don't want Thrawn anywhere near this.
I
personally.
personally don't think Thrawn's even going to be in this. I think it was more of a subtle hint that he's going to be in Ahsoka.
I 100%
because
agree
it
with
was
you.
in the Ahsoka episode. But yeah, I think we're definitely going to get some hinting at a Force user at the end of next episode.
Well, Brian still hasn't answered his question.
I'm honestly unsure. I mean, I sure as hell did not expect Gideon last year to pull out the Darksaber. I would have.
No.
Right. Yeah,
would
I mean,
be
it's
like-
impossible to predict.
Yeah. So, what Sean said, I mean, Thrawn's my favorite character, and I don't want him in this because I think I like kind of this story that's being told right now, and I don't want this overshadowing arc over it. Like, Thrawn's here. Oh, okay, well, cool. Like, we get it. Like, there's still a lot to tell with Thrawn that I don't want his character to impose what we have right now. So,
I got a big reveal for you that it could be. Paz Vizsla or the Armorer looking through the Imperial system and seeing Gideon's face.
Yes.
I thought about mentioning that earlier. I was like, I wonder if Din's face being scanned, like if that got saved and made it into the network, even though the place got blown up.
It feels like something that could be just it was important for him to remove his helmet to save his child, and like that was a big character moment for him. But yeah, I would like it if that had consequences. But it seemed like something that happened so fast that we would forget about it.
every single
thought about
time,
the armor in a while.
that's
I would
true.
love to see her back. Oh my god.
Every single time we think like this season, we've been like, why did they do that? Is they need to explain why they did that? There's been some huge like revelation. So like that's not that bad of an idea, Sean. That's
I think the whole Children of the Watch thing is like the greatest.
Yeah.
I was so happy
Yep.
they did all that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Why is he acting so different? Oh, he's in a cult. That makes a lot of sense.
Raised by a cult.
Yeah, I think I mean, because we haven't seen the armor or any of the Children of the Watch this whole season, so we have to at some point in this season tie back to him. Why not on the tag at the end of the season?
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that. Keith Connolly, thanks for your question. Love staying up to watch you guys. 2 a.m. here. Bravo, Bill Burr this week. Credit where it's due. Keep up the good work from a fan in Ireland out here in Octo. Thanks, Keith.
Oh,
And we're later than normal because we were accommodating our West Coast friends who we made stay up late to watch the episode last night. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
No, we're sorry we made you stay up late.
No, it's fine. It was worth it.
oh, please! Like we weren't going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Except for Jill, we all did anyway.
I know.
Okay,
was
then
worth
I'm not sorry at all. Ricardo
Except for
Franco.
Reefton. We're sorry to Reefton.
Yeah,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, Reef Pond.
I know Reefton was. Yeah, sorry, Reefton.
I've told Reefton over and over and over that he is allowed to go to sleep whenever he wants. He's here because he wants to be, and then he just like makes a stink about it. I know you're having fun. You're having fun. Don't pretend you're not. Is he even here? He might be asleep.
No,
He's
it
just
looks like he's
passed
asleep
out.
now.
He passed out.
Wait,
Oh, it is
wait,
there.
maybe not.
Oh, he's here.
He's
here.
here. There he is.
Can I just say I have campaigned for Reefton to get a moderator icon on every channel I can. Jake, step up your game.
Oh, put me. Oh, come on, don't blame me. Don't blame me.
Hey, he's a PJ Campbell Network moderator now.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do it while we're streaming right now.
You're welcome,
There
Reef.
you go. Oh, Ricardo, what's up, man? Thanks for the
Rick.
question. Anyone else lose their minds when Boba used a seismic charge? I don't know why, but it was my favorite moment of the series. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I was absolutely thrilled. I think we all were.
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Kylie, thank you for another question. A POV stream with no impression. No, you don't. So let's fix that.
Oh no.
Everyone get your best Bill Burr impression on a new potential ship for Mando.
I can't do a
Man.
Boston accent.
Yeah, I don't think I can do a Boston accent.
I'm going to cheat and pull up the episode so I can hear his voice real quick. While all of you can.
I don't know what he's talking
A new ship. All right, I can do
Okay,
that.
I'll go first because I had a line of his written down in my notes that I just loved.
Okay.
Oh, the shame. It's not an accent or anything, but that's
You
what
just-
he
you
says. That's what he says to Din when he sees him in the stormtrooper outfit for the first time.
Oh,
Okay.
My impression.
okay.
But she wants you to they want you to say what, like a recommendation for a new ship. So like a hey there, Mando. Looks like you're in the market for a new ship. Maybe try an X-wing.
There you go.
I mean, I don't think any of us need to go anymore.
I think Alex just did it.
That's you go first, so you don't have anything to compare it to. And
I
everyone's
just
like,
I want to
good.
throw in, I want to
Yeah,
throw in like the Boston car, like he's gonna go get a car somewhere,
Yeah.
but like there's no cars in Star Wars.
Your
so-
Razor Crest gone.
You'll raise the crest.
The insurance on the rental ships are outrageous.
Jake, it's like what?
Oh,
Mac-
wait, Brian, hold on, Brian, hold on.
No, because you're gonna take what I'm gonna say.
No. No. Hold on.
Here we go again.
It's you gotta say, hey Mando, so you gotta get a ship with Smart Pock. You gotta get a ship with Smart Pock.
I thought you were gonna go for why don't you pocket ship in the Harvard Yard? John.
That was good.
I got nothing.
It's Sean.
I got nothing. I love funny and silly voices. Boston, I will not even attempt. I don't want to lose rights to my last name by shaming Boston.
Darren Aquino, thanks for the question. On Din's undramatic reveal, maybe deep down he's kind of over his way because the Mandalorians he found and respects seem to disrespect his creed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think he's still breaking through that. He's obviously getting over some stuff. I think he's become a lot more flexible this season. But he still didn't want to take his helmet off.
Well, I feel like, and these subtle acting cues with him with the mask, it's kind of hard to read. But right before they go in, he says like, "But I'm still not showing my face," and his head kind of like tilts down a little bit, and I almost imagine him with the look on his face, like, unless I have to.
Yeah.
Does Tim not know he's played by Pedro Pascal?
I as long as I get more Pedro Pascal in my life, I'm happy. Like, bring it, give it.
Jane Dalton, thanks for your question. Do y'all think that Din will show Grogu his face in the next episode?
I think in the next episode, I don't think so. It's next season.
Oh, I actually like that idea.
I
Just maybe calm him down from choking people.
Yeah. Whether it's just that or that just got dark real quick, or just something in general. I do like that idea, kind of, because he has been held captive. Maybe just to remind him that, hey, like, I got you.
I don't know if I'm thinking too much into this, but I used to work with toddlers, and I feel like he would get very confused because all he sees is Din with the helmet. So hearing Din's voice without the helmet on, I think would just be overload for him, and he would be very confused about it.
Maybe
I feel like it would have to be a gradual thing.
Yeah, maybe he sees him in the armor first, and something crazy is happening, and then in order to get his attention or something, he takes the helmet off, and Grogu does the.
I mean, what if he has to throw the helmet in a door frame to stop the door from closing, or something?
Like a la Indiana Jones.
Like they subvert. What if they try to subvert him taking his helmet off? I don't know, because it seems like the only reason he'll do it right now is in order to get to Grogu.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know why, but my gut says that the helmet's coming off again in the next season, but I already think that
next season,
for sure.
I think absolutely.
Oh, did I say season? I meant next episode.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I meant next episode. But I think that he already, he took the helmet off. He made big, willingly. He took big steps already.
Big steps.
Yeah.
His therapist would be so proud.
I see Kyle Smith and Soldado Dragos. Thanks so much for your super chats. I don't see messages along with them. If you shoot them to our mods, they will get them to us.
I have one message from Brett whenever you get to that one.
Brett, okay. Darren Aquino, thanks for another question. Could Din being a decommissioned Mandalorian hunter be why he's in the Imperial system? I think that line was due to the fact that he saved Grogu and went against the bounty hunter guild. And so that's why he was a decommissioned hunter. But now he's been reinstated, so I don't know. I don't know if he's in the system. That whole facial recognition thing is still up in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I was like, if he's in the Empire, wouldn't his face have came up? Like, if he used his face, like, at some point, like, I mean, they would have that, wouldn't they?
Nope.
Okay, fine. Maybe not.
I mean, most likely no. I mean, it kind of seemed like he just scanned his face. Like, I don't know.
Capture.
Yeah. We'll see whether or not that comes back later, I guess.
Yeah. PKO435, thanks for the question. Fun episode. I thought Mayfeld brought some much needed personality and spirit, especially next to the stiffness of Finnick, Fett, and Cara Dune. Mm-hmm. That's a good point too. It is like we have a lot of like very stoic, just like badass people, and that's not what Mayfeld is.
Yeah. I definitely I'm not a fan of Gina's acting or
I was going to say the same thing.
Or otherwise, but I mean, Finnick's great, but I mean, she's like a cold-blooded assassin, so her being kind of hard is like that makes sense. I was going to say this earlier, but like the two of them teamed up, I thought was kind of cool, and like them just like using their sharpshooter skills. It almost was like the two of them are playing duck hunt when they're just like, I got this one, and they're just like taking them out one by one. I was like, they're playing duck hunt.
Bakey, thanks for your question or statement. I do have a particular set of skills I have acquired over a very long career, skills that make me a nightmare for people like you, Mando. Ted Comment, thanks for another super chat. Din during the scene with Mayfeld and the officer looked like a kid watching his parents argue.
You just did not know.
Kinda, yeah.
I like to think that that's his face, like a lot of the time under the helmet. He's just like,
He's never had to worry about what his expressions
Yeah,
say.
so he doesn't know how to control it.
That's a good point. Like we talk about, man, he looked really uncomfortable outside of the helmet, but maybe
has
he
no
looks
poker
uncomfortable all the time. He's just like saying all these cool things. I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold.
The other thing was he's never drinking alcohol.
No.
Most likely. Like if he's not taking off his helmet, he's not sharing a beer with anyone. So I'm shocked they didn't play that up when the officer offered him a drink. Like,
I don't know.
Did he drink it? I can't remember.
I don't
No.
think so.
he didn't. I checked. I watched.
he's got a
Oh.
full bar. Well,
That would be funny though if he like took a sip and was like, ugh.
I was gonna say he's got a full bar in the Razor Crest, but he had a full bar in the Razor Crest, I guess.
Womp womp.
Too soon.
Womp womp.
Tim Coughlin, thanks for your super chat. The chase dynamics gave me a big flash of Alfred's story from The Dark Knight. The Ruby story? I don't know what that means.
The
dark-
dark, like the Dark Knight the movie.
Story, but I don't remember what the story is.
Alfred's story about like a sapphire, the size of a tangerine. That one? That's the story I think of.
I think so, yeah.
Spot on, Alex. Love
Huh?
it.
Thank you.
Spot
I don't know what that means, Tim. I'm sorry.
It's a DC movie, so Alex won't know.
Oh, yay. Sorry, Jill.
No.
Ben Potter, thanks for your question. I think Mando assumed they were pirates before he went out there and found they were out to destroy it when it was over. There was no reason to discuss. I mean, yeah. I still kind of wish it were addressed.
Fair.
Josh Thompson, thanks for your super chat. Den has a lot of beliefs. He is a believer, but the title is to point out that this episode is about challenging his beliefs.
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That could work.
Also, I think we're buffering right now.
I was saying the chat is like, oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are we back? Are we good?
come on, internet.
All of us
They
buffering?
said the video was buffering.
Oh, weird.
All right, I'll just give it a second here.
It's Sean's wrath for you taking him out.
I think it's fine now. Yeah.
Okay. Scene Fiend, thanks for the super chat. Anyone else get chills when Hess said order? I had chills that whole scene.
Yeah.
Everything he said was super on point bad guy stuff.
Mm.
Gary24 fan, thanks for the very generous super chat. Did you catch the Office Space reference with Mayfeld's mention of having to fill out TPS reports? Yeah, we did.
I did not put together that was. Is that from Office Space?
They make a big deal out of it. I don't know what TPS reports are. I went to Google just TPS reports and it autofilled TPS reports Mandalorian.
Oh.
Shocker.
I remember that from Office Space, but I was like, I don't know if this is that Easter egg or not.
They are test procedure specification reports.
That sounds kind of Star Wars-y too.
Yeah, it can work.
That works.
Why not?
Kevin, thanks for the question. If you've got one, what adult beverage are you having right now? And yes, I will be asking this for every post-episode stream I watch. So Molly and I, it's almost 11 for us. And we both have the Sweetwater Festive Ale.
Nice.
I'm
The
actually
Georgia Brew?
hydrating.
I made a point to be professional on this stream.
Pure vodka.
Oh, well, that was your mistake. Brian.
Right.
Interested right now.
I had whiskey, so
I'm
Whiskey
being
Jedi.
good.
yep.
There you go. I'm being good today. I have water.
We told Jill no wine.
I know. Tomorrow, on the other hand.
We keep it loose on these streams.
Yeah. Ricardo Franco, thanks for another super chat and question. Mando's video message was awesome. Major angry dad vibes. He means more to me than you will ever know. Be right back. Crying in the club. I agree, Ricardo.
Right.
We already.
He's hooking himself up with some whiskey now that we talk.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right after he said he was a professional.
Now he's busting out the whiskey. Yeah.
Elijah Rivera, thanks for the question. We did already cover this. Who do we interpret as the believer? I think Molly had the best answer.
Me too.
Do you remember what it was?
I mean, Mayfield just kind of believing in himself and believing that he can change and help people and maybe not be so cynical.
I like it. Garrett Hills, thanks for the question. Did you see Din's eyes in his visor in the transport? I did not.
Oh, no.
No, I thought they were blocked out by the helmet.
I did too.
There were a couple of shots where I thought maybe I could see a mouth moving. I don't think I saw eyes, but maybe.
If it was, I don't think it was on like purpose.
Yeah.
It might have been like they may have not made it as tinted as the helmet because it's like, he's going to take it off later anyway. So, Jane Dalton, thanks for the super chat. Is the title in reference to Mayfield being a true believer in the Empire? Is it about when beliefs break? They both had to break their beliefs for those they cared about, Mayfield's servicemen and Grogu. Yeah, I mean, this is the most like up for interpretation title I think we've had so far.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In a while.
What do you guys think the Marshal means?
What do you think the Jedi mean?
In the very first lightsaber.
But what does it mean?
I love that everyone was like trying to speculate what the title of Ahsoka's episode was going to be, and I was like, pretty sure it's just going to be the Jedi.
It's just titled Ahsoka. Oh, okay.
Yeah, just get it out of the way. We're going there.
Optimike Primus, thanks for the question. What are your thoughts on Mando getting a new ship, taking over Slave One, etc.? I'm still really torn after this ep. It feels like Boba might go. I still hope. I kind of want Din to have his own ship. I don't want him to like be.
This guy.
I don't want him to just turn into Boba Fett, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The further you read this, Jake's smile kept getting bigger.
I really don't want Boba taking or Din taking the Slave One because it just kind of conflates the whole issue of, aren't all Mandalorians just Boba Fett? Yeah, I don't want that.
Plus, after he repainted his armor, it's like, it looks like he wants to maybe stick around, reinvent himself. I don't know. Jake, what do you?
But it's the Slave One, guys.
You literally just want the Slave One as long as possible.
No, look. I get the argument that it would make more sense for him to find a new ship that's Boba's ship and getting away from, like Sean said, that every Mandalorian is Boba Fett. I have been on this for the last 2 weeks, and I still believe that Boba's going to take the hero's way out, and that the Slave One will get passed down to him. Because it seemed, from what we know anyway, Boba has never had a connection to another Mandalorian like he has Din, and it would make sense for that to happen now that they're on this kind of adventure together. But that only happens if certain things kind of fall into place. I would be happy if Boba lived and kept the Slave One. He's one of my all-time favorite characters, but I kind of see it kind of going towards that way, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the Razor Crest was such an iconic ship for him specifically, and like everyone seemed to recognize it. I feel like it would be weird for the show and for fans to Mando to just take the Slave One.
Yeah.
I just don't know what kind of ship he's gonna get. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing.
Out there.
Okay, well, what else is he gonna fly that is like kind of unique?
Yeah.
A brand new ship that they make up.
Maybe Wheel built him a ship before he died, and it's
Oh,
Hit Jake right in the heart.
We get a Babu Frick cameo of him just making a ship.
Hey!
Hey,
Hey.
Cameron Fringe, thanks for your question. I think Kira forgiving Mayfeld seemed fast because the movies don't show much conflict between Imperial defectors and freedom fighters and the rebellion. A lot of rebellion heroes did bad things for the Empire. I think that's true, and I also don't really have a problem with him being forgiven. Like, whenever I feel that way, I just think back to like, oh yeah, Darth Vader is in Force Heaven because he made one good decision at the end of his life. Like,
This one.
Star Wars is pretty fast and loose with the forgiveness, and that's okay. It's more
also
about what it means.
It's also less work for her to just say that he died in the explosion than to bring him back.
Yeah,
She doesn't have to take him back. She doesn't have to do the
True.
paperwork.
that's true. We're on a schedule. We got a baby to save.
Freaking paperwork.
Doom for Zombies, thanks for the super chat. Can I just point out there was a second bounty on Grogu, considering what IG-11 said in the first episode, that was probably trying to stop Gideon. I didn't get that vibe. Because I happened to have someone ask me about this like earlier today, because what's his face? Werner Herzog was throwing bounties out left and right and didn't care. He was like, alive or dead, whatever. So I don't necessarily think they were trying to stop Gideon. Maybe Werner Herzog was working against Gideon, and that's why he wound up shot a lot. But I think that was all kind of the same thing, and that's why every bounty hunter had a tracking fob.
Makes sense.
Sailor Joe, thanks for the super chat. Is the slave one a TARDIS? It's clearly bigger on the inside.
Confirmed. TARDIS confirmed.
I do think we saw like the whole thing.
but I mean, the Falcon also doesn't fit inside the shell of the Falcon.
Yeah.
Also true.
Yeah.
Like,
Movie
Darth
magic.
Dave.
Magic.
Darth Dave, thanks for the question. Dylan Mayfeld never did fill out those TPS reports. Empire equals office space. Yay.
Everyone's so worried about the TPS reports.
I know. JT Dog Zone, thanks for the question. I felt like Mayfeld blowing up an entire base is at odds with his indignation towards the lives of his fellow troops being treated as expendable to the Empire. Thoughts?
I
think at that point
I
he thinks
think
they're
he had
all
a change of heart. I think he had a change of heart towards the Empire, and that was clearly shown with his conversation with the commander. And he was like, it was kind of like a redemption thing for him. He's like, these guys did me dirty. I'm going to do dirty back to them.
yeah, but I think the
Go ahead, Sully.
I think the point is like, see, now I'm talking and I'm stumbling over my damn words. Oh, I'm doing that.
God.
I think it's more a matter of like he's indignant against the leadership of the Empire, not the individual troops, and he just
I got you.
blew up a bunch of the
I
mean, did we see the entire thing blow up?
No.
No, I double checked, and he just blows up the Rhydonium.
Okay.
I'm sure he killed some people, but I also see
Yeah.
it as like,
Definitely killed some people. Yeah.
yeah. So he made a big point about Operation Cinder, and he left after Operation Cinder, and it seems like that was kind of the breaking point for a lot of Imperials. The Alphabet Squadron books cover that quite a bit. So it's a little like the pot calling the kettle black or whatever, and like being, you're not that much better, but also if you're still in the Empire after Operation Cinder,
Yeah.
like there's no changing your mind. You're
Right.
That
you're probably
commander,
hopeless.
that commander also made a point to say, like, with this, with all the Rhydonium that we
Mhm.
have, we can make Operation Cinder look like
That's
child
true.
play or something like that. So I think in his mind, he was like, all right, I'm going to just take care of this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Brett Baumler, thanks for the super chat. There's no message attached. I'll keep an eye on my
I have
DM.
that.
Oh, that's Brett, right?
Meant to ask them who they think the director of the finale will be, since it's a mystery at the moment.
Oh.
I'm keeping my expectations reasonable, and I'm just going to say Jon Favreau again.
I think it's Favreau.
That's
yeah.
my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Favreau.
I think that we got a list of directors, and they announced every director that was on like in this season, and one of them did 2 episodes. That would be my guess. But if I had to throw a pipe dream out, if it ended and it said directed by George Lucas, I mean, that's a good way to get everyone to lose their minds.
Yeah, I think if Lucas is going to direct anything in Star Wars at this point, it'll be Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think he would want to play in the volume.
Yeah.
Like that's something that he wanted to happen. So I could see them being like, come on down.
Come do it.
But I also see Favreau bookending this. Directing the first episode, directing the last episode.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That's what I'm going to expect.
Did we get a super chat from Soldado Dragos?
I remember that name.
Because I missed
Yes.
DM from that. Theirs was the silver ball and the spear are the only things that really survived the Razor Crest. Could the ball be made of Beskar? Is there a Force Beskar connection that makes Grogu love it?
I think the ball is made of plot armor. That's why I think the ball survived. I mean,
yeah.
I think he just wants a toy. Just simple as that.
I mean, I think the ball is probably made out of Beskar.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with Sean. I do think.
Why not?
Too.
Why not pimp out your ship with a little Beskar?
Pimp out your ship.
because this is relevant. Robert Chamberlain, thanks for the super chat. Watch the last episode be directed by Ryan Johnson, and then everyone will review the best episode. I mean, that would be hysterical if people who were like, "The Mandalorian's the best thing I've ever seen," and the finale's amazing, and then it said that, and like haters were just like, "I don't know what to do with my life now."
Yeah. I'm questioning everything.
We can only dream.
That would be funny.
Moose, thanks for the question. Someone important has to die, right? I don't see Gideon letting Grogu slip away again, and Din is not going to stop until he has him back or is dead. I don't think so. I don't think someone has to die. I just don't.
Something dramatic, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Just
I like at the end of every season, I always get like the "who's gonna die" questions, and I was like, I don't know. No one has to. I was surprised Khalil and IG-11 died, but
Yeah,
Game of Thrones. We don't. Someone doesn't need to die every episode.
Yeah, we don't need all those characters to die. But I kind of like the idea of it being like The Empire Strikes Back, is where it just ends very dark.
You've been saying this for a while.
I can definitely see that happening.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that someone has to die, but that it just ends on a very, very dark note. And that we don't know what's happening for a year. And because we know that it's coming out till next December. And so we're just waiting around for it. And it's like a massive cliffhanger, like bigger than Darksaber, but it's a very dark note to us as fans who we follow these heroes along. But that doesn't mean that someone has to die. I do think that at some point during the series, someone will have to die. I just don't know when.
sure.
Agreed.
I also try not to just speculate on that stuff because I don't want to like figure it out. I'd rather be surprised
That's true.
and sad by it.
Yeah, because you always figure stuff out.
Right. Sad.
Why?
Sorry. Zarek Aeon, thanks for the question. Do you think Din will help Grogu find a kyber crystal and build his own little lightsaber?
One could only hope that cuteness would
A
happen.
little teeny tiny lightsaber.
That'd be so dangerous, though.
Yeah.
And he's just an absolute like killer with it.
I mean, that's true. We don't know how far into his training he got at the Jedi Temple. Maybe he already knows his way around the lightsaber.
That would be fun.
Optimike Primus, thanks for another question. Who do you see playing Thrawn? Pierce Brosnan?
Too old.
I think that's hilarious just because of that celebration art.
And the artist came out and said, like, yeah, I used Pierce Brosnan as inspiration for that particular piece. But yeah, no, he's too old, I think, to play Thrawn at this point. Maybe in his prime.
I mean, Thrawn's not young anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
is he going to
we don't know
look?
how they age.
Yeah, is he going to look aged at all?
Mhm.
I'd love to see Lars Mikkelsen. I mean,
Me too.
he
That's my
voiced him.
pick.
Why not? I
I
mean,
think that's the perfect
yeah.
way to go.
That's always anytime a character is going to come back. Like I much prefer you just keep consistency over a recast, but
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah. I agree.
I missed question from Garrett Giolo. Thank you. Hi, I would love to see a Boba Fett crew with all the bounty hunters. Love your streams. Thanks, Garrett. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of the Empire bounty hunters show up.
Mhm.
I'd love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a fun little Easter
Throw
egg.
Dengar in there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I would love to see a Dengar on screen. That'd be awesome. I just wonder how that would work if it was like a series based around them. Like how would that work with the dynamics between all of them? It'd be very interesting.
I want Bosk.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah, Bosk would be awesome too.
I'd want like
IG88.
like an Ocean's 11 scenario where they all have to work together.
Yes.
I kind of like a
killing each other off.
Or like
I like
Unusual
the-
Suspects where they don't really like each other, but they're working together.
either that or I like Smoking Aces, kind of everyone
Oh,
gets
that's
one
good.
target and they're racing for it.
That's a good call.
Mm.
Shane Dunning, thanks for the question. Since there wasn't a Boba show announced yesterday, does that mean Boba Fett's glorious end is imminent? Din then gets Slave One to replace the Razor Crest. Maybe. There were a couple things that have been heavily rumored that weren't talked about yesterday that make me curious. That
Yeah.
maybe they're saving some announcements, like some surprise announcements, but I don't know.
I was fully expecting a Boba Fett series to be announced, to be honest, but now I'm not so sure.
Mhm.
I think he's gonna go off, and then at the very end of the show, we'll get him back for this one last glorious battle on Mandalore.
That'd
And
be
maybe
cool.
he'll die there, but
Yeah. I want to get a heart-to-heart conversation out of him and to find out like what he wants in life at this point. Like he
Yeah.
got his armor back. He's repainted it. Like, what does that mean? Where's he going now? What's on his vision board?
I just don't think you bring Boba back to kill him off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm with Molly. Like I want to find out what's making him tick right now, just because he's very different from the other interpretations we've seen of him. Why is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want answers.
we just spent X amount of years wondering if he's alive or dead, and they kill him off 3
Right.
episodes
Yeah.
Yeah,
after.
3 episodes later.
Or worse, they make him disappear with no resolution, and then we're
He
back.
falls back in a Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
Nitrox there, thanks for the question. Nothing Mando related, but this is a question for everyone. If you could have one life-size droid, what would it be?
Oh,
I'm so basic R2D2. Yeah.
I want-
C3PO. I love C3PO.
I need sassy K2SO. Like he needs to be like, and there's another
You
one.
want him to beat you around?
Either Bucket or Chopper.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chopper's
Chopper.
good.
Yeah.
Chopper's spicy too.
I think I would say K2SO as well because he would be helpful around the house.
Would he?
If he's not sassing you.
Would he?
If he's not sassing me, if I'm nice enough to him, maybe I'll give him a blaster. He could just lift all the heavy things and hang our Christmas lights and take them down.
R2 is a
Mhm.
bartender, which is what I went towards. So.
Yeah.
Oh,
R2 bar 2.
R2
I
bar.
Bar2D2.
Yeah, bar 2.
I think
One of
I'd
the-
go BD1. He's the most like a dog. So just a little buddy.
I just saw someone in the chat put Mr. Bones. That would
Oh
be fun.
God.
Can you imagine?
A lot of enemies.
Stuart J, thanks for the question. How do you think Din will respond if he meets up with the armor and she asks if he's taken off his helmet in front of anyone? Well, technically, he didn't take off his Mando helmet in front of anyone.
Loopholes.
Yeah.
I tend to think that's going to be the clash we see in the future of this show.
I agree.
I think that'll be saved, and that's kind of going to be like not like the big bad of the series, but whenever Gideon ends, the Armorer comes next. So
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
We are right at the 2-hour mark. It's 11 p.m. here, and Molly and I need to. We're gonna get through the rest of these super chats. We are going to go into a lightning round here, but we're gonna let our guests go because they've been with us for 2 hours. But Jake and Brian and Jill and Sean, let everyone know where they can find you, and everyone go look in the description because I think everything they're about to say is already down there.
Yeah, you can find 4 of us, mostly 4.5 sometimes if Sean pops his head in on a certain point of view. Weekly Schmodown related podcast. Brian and I are also on a movie related podcast called Apocalypse Movies. And I do a little Star Wars thing as well called The Whiskey Jedi. So you can check that out too.
Yeah, I just follow him around.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Let's
Let's be honest.
Streaming.
Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Sean Sully. Twitter, Suit Up Sully. Sometimes I'm on the PJ Campbell Network. That's it.
More than sometimes. Come on.
More than sometimes.
Lately, it's been more than sometimes.
But they cover the Schmodown a lot, and tomorrow is a big day for the Schmodown. And I know you're not doing like live reactions or anything, but make sure you are checking out the Schmodown because I'll be competing in it. But Jake and Brian and Jill and Molly and maybe Sean will be on there too, are all going to be breaking down Spectacular 5. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for 2 hours and talking Mandalorian. That was great. Hey,
How did you just throw Twitch on me?
thanks for following, Brian O'Brien.
Hold on. I heard it before it happened, and I went to go shut it off.
What is that? Good job. Real professional.
There we go.
It's too perfect.
I'm in virtual cam. Sorry, it's so I can edit my.
Nice.
You can't take them anywhere.
No, but yeah, Alex and Molly, thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
So much
Anytime.
fun.
Of course.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna say goodbye to our guests, and then Molly and I are gonna get
Strap
through
in.
these questions. Yeah, let's strap in. Ludwig, thank you so much for the question. Will Moff be defeated this season? If so, who would you like to deal the finishing blow? Din, Boba, Bo-Katan, or Grogu? I don't think he'll be defeated this season.
I think he'll maybe be defeated, but in a small way, like not killed, but maybe he'll be swindled somehow.
I am on board with that. Yeah, he will be beaten. I don't think he'll be killed. I guess that's what I'm thinking of by defeated.
Yeah.
For the final blow, eventually, I mean, right now I kind of want it to be Bo-Katan, but
Me too.
Din also works. Now why do your AirPods last longer than my AirPods?
I haven't been using mine.
That's true. I was using mine earlier. I forgot. Anyway. Sleep of Giants, thanks for the question. Kazuto Ziono in Rangers of the New Republic.
Oh,
I do like Kaz a lot, but I think it's too early for him. He's pretty young.
yeah.
At the time of The Force Awakens. Like, I want to say he's older than you think.
He's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, he acts so goofy that you think he's a lot younger, and I'm like, oh wait, he's not as young as I think he is. I wanted to say he was 19, but I don't think that's right.
Not lightning round, Alex.
I'm sorry. He was born 14 years after the Battle of Yavin, which, yeah, I don't think he's even born yet.
That's okay. But I mean, I think both of us are down for Christopher Sean to play him in live action.
Yeah.
Put him in the jacket. Let's go.
Agreed. Matt Bashi, thanks for the question. Who do you think ends up killing Gideon? Bo-Katan, Din, Grogu, or someone else? I still say Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan or Din, using that Beskar staff would be pretty dope.
I mean, I definitely think they're going to fight in the next episode. if he took Bo-Katan's Darksaber, I want her to take it back and the Mandalorian way.
Mhm.
Bulldog 490, thanks for the question. Under the exclamation, Mayfeld killed the Night King. He sure did.
Good for him.
Alex Franco, thanks for the question. What did you think of the turbo tank and tank trooper armor? It was cool. I mean, it matches the tank armor from Rogue One. So nice.
I really like the design for those helmets. They look
I do too.
a lot more menacing than most of the other helmets.
I agree. Decaf Coffee, thanks for the super chat. You got to buy your Starship from Kuat Drive Yards.
Thank you
That's
for
very
saying
good.
that.
That's very good. Tim Harrison, thanks for the question. Iden Versio for Rangers of the New Republic and Clone Wars flashbacks and in the Obi-Wan series. Will we see Anakin and Ahsoka and Rex? Iden would be great. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I mean, especially after Operation Cinder got name dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool.
And Clone Wars flashbacks. Could we see Anakin, Ahsoka, or Rex? I think we could. I think we could see all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tamura Morrison is down to play anyone they want. Optimike
like
Primus, thank you for another super chat. As someone in IT, the face scan thing did kind of bother me. It's not very secure. If you're going to scan a face, why wouldn't it be a security feature?
I think there's a whole like documentary on Netflix. If it's not a whole documentary by itself, it's at least an episode of a documentary series about the face scan technology and how like crazy it is and how like messed up it is. But anyways,
fun. Boob Sweat, thanks for the question. Considering Mayfeld didn't survive and all the Imperials are dead, does that mean no living being has seen him? I mean, yeah, loopholes. I think there's a lot of loopholes in this episode. So, you know what? We didn't talk about this, but there was a moment. Mayfeld shoots the dude. They kill everyone else in the room, and he quickly gives Din his helmet back, and he's like, "Here, nobody saw your face." Mm-hmm. And Din gives him like this slight little, like, "Aw."
I know, yeah,
like a little smile, like you care.
The precious moments that we got of Pedro Pascal acting as Din with the helmet off, like just the subtle little eye movements, the head tilts, like just being able to see him act with his facial features and his expressions and stuff, like it was like so satisfying.
Yeah. Shadow Demon 117, thanks for the question. Is it just me or was the vehicle they were in did the vehicle they were in remind you of a turbo tank? Yes, and I'm sure that was on purpose. Mm-hmm. Daniel Slatkin, thank you for the super chat. I want Grogu to be okay.
Me?
We all do.
Too. Me too. He is okay. I'm just gonna make it happen via putting it out there in the universe.
Tim Coughlin, thanks for another super chat. Just said, I tried to explain, and that was from the Alfred story, but I don't know where that explanation is. I'm sorry.
Oh, it might be lost in chat.
Yeah.
At this point. Sorry if we totally messed up your comment by interpreting it wrong.
You got the Soldado super chat, right?
Yeah.
We read that one about the Beskar ball.
Yes.
J Money 0796, thanks for the question. Who's ready for a Mando versus Gideon showdown? Me. They've definitely built that up enough to be like, I'm psyched for it. The I'm coming to get you moment at the end was great.
I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but do you think Din in this next episode will call Grogu his child at all? Because he's been calling him the kid, the mission, the whatever, but everyone else has been referring to him as, oh, your kid. Do you think he'll like...
I think so. I mean, I think he basically did in this episode.
Yeah, but...
I hope he does it to Grogu's face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, okay. I hope that happens.
Me too.
Caravaggio 2012, thank you for the question. How about the Ebon Hawk for his new ship? That gives you a backdoor Revan lore, but also new to mini fans. That ship model has been used in canon already, so it's possible. I don't know what they're going to do with his ship. I'm still shocked they blew it up.
Me too.
Frankly.
I have faith that it'll be good no matter how they deal with it. But yeah. Right now it's very up in the air.
Cameron Fringe, thanks for the question. Ahsoka says she is not a Jedi fighting Vader, and Mayfeld claims he has no beliefs. Their titles are given to them by Mando and Cara, respectively. That's true. I do think that
Ahsoka never outright says she's not a Jedi to Din.
But a lot of people were waiting for that moment. I think me as well, to be like, oh, and then she's going to be like, I'm not a Jedi. And Din will be like, dang it. Dang Ferric.
Yeah.
But I don't I still consider her to be a Jedi. I do personally.
And the Dave Filoni interview talking about the episode, he said most people associate her with the Jedi. So yeah, she pretty much is still a Jedi.
Yeah, I think she is. Technically, no, she didn't graduate from Jedi school, but she upholds their beliefs. Gray Miller, thanks for the question. Do you think Mayfield will become a recurring character? I mean, he did today. Will he continue to pop up? I hope he does. Which, if you had told me last year after watching Chapter 6 that I would say that, I'd be like, nah. But now I'm like, he's great. I want him back.
I think him popping up in the Rangers show would be really interesting. Like if he completely turned his life around now and he gets to help them one more time in another episode somewhere.
I agree.
Kara would be like, I know a guy. Cut to, Mayfield.
Yeah. Doom for Zombies, thanks for the super chat. IG11 said the bounty was specific about wanting Grogu dead. This is from earlier, I assume, and I agree. But I think that was just Werner Herzog throwing bounties out. There very well could be someone working against Gideon, but that felt like that's just one of those things where we had to see the Mandalorian make a choice to save the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And he shot the bounty hunter instead. So I think that was more of a character decision more than like a big setup for something down the line. I could be wrong, but that's how I interpret it.
At the time, he was very much against droids. So
yeah, also that, yeah. Robert Chamberlain, thanks for the super chat. Oh, that was the Ryan Johnson one. CBS Inc., thank you for the question. Wasn't there still carbonite people in the ship? I don't think so. I hope not.
No, I dropped all of those people off.
Yeah, he dropped everyone off in the very first episode, and I don't believe he's captured anyone since then.
Yeah.
Timmy Sanders, thanks for the question. Do you think the Clan of Two sigil could be a potential Rule of Two foreshadowing? The Mudhorn?
That's not necessarily a Clan of Two symbol. That's just what the author said.
Yeah. They are like Clan Mudhorn, and there's two of them.
Yeah.
That
doesn't mean there can't be more.
Yeah, and also I don't think it's foreshadowing like a Sith thing.
Nah.
Dragoness Prime, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. It's your boy. I think that our dark ending this season will either be that Grogu is not on the ship or the armorer is coming for Din for breaking with the Creed. I would prefer the armor thing.
If Grogu's not on the ship, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown.
CBS Inc. says that there were carbonite slabs in there. They didn't show if people were in them. Since I would assume that no one was in the ship when it blew up, I think they would have highlighted that. We would have seen him capture somebody. He hasn't gone on any bounty hunting missions. lately. So I think the ship was empty. Alex Franco 25, thanks for the super chat. Rowan Freemaker is the Jedi Grogu calls.
Oh no.
Cute idea, but Rowan Freemaker is way too young to be any good right now. He needs training. And Luke told him that Luke said he was too young to start training anyone. So, but that was 5 years earlier.
Mm.
Optimike Primus, thank you for the question. What if Grogu takes out troopers with the ball like Magneto in Apocalypse? That would be great to see.
I love that idea.
I think we'll definitely lose someone here. That would be funny if like Din holds up the ball. He's like, "You want this?" And then he just starts throwing it around, knocking troopers out.
He's like, yes, and he takes it, and it just like flies through a bunch of bodies. Like what's his name's Arrow in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Jane Dalton, thank you for another super chat. Just want to say thank you all for making the crazy amount of content you have in the past 20 hours. Hope you're able to get some rest now. We're working on it. You helped.
I helped, but I also been trying to get you to take a nap.
I know.
You're gonna get cranky.
I will sleep shortly after this. I still haven't played the new Squadron ships. I want to do that at some point.
I'm not your mom. You can do what you want.
Alex Franco 25, thanks for another super chat. What are the chances we see Dr. Aphra in live action? Man, I had a moment where I thought, I think they were saying the words like acolyte, and I was like, Aphra, acolyte, but I'm still excited about the acolyte. So.
I mean, I think that would be an amazing way to bring her in, to give her like some sort of live action show, and it would be very Indiana Jones, which I know you would love, and a lot of other people would love. Again, yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't announce something with her, because I feel like there were rumors about that too. I don't know. Everyone has their own rumors now, so.
Yeah. Robert Chamberlain, thank you. Oh, but I hope it happens someday, I should say. Like, I don't know if it's likely, but I love the character. Definitely wouldn't mind seeing a live action show about her.
She's such a fan favorite too. And for her to only be in comics and the audio drama is like, okay, well, clearly people like her.
Yeah. Robert Chamberlain, thank you for the question. 2 questions here and 2 super chats. Crazy thought I just had. What if he goes to save Grogu, but Grogu rejects him now? No.
I feel like a lot of time.
No, thank you.
A lot of time would have had to have passed for something like that to happen. I don't know. I don't see that happening with the way that he was like running into his arms earlier in the season.
Yeah. I don't see that happening either. Like, if Grogu thought that he had been straight up abandoned, maybe, but I don't think he thought that. He saw Din trying to save him. Yeah. My heart couldn't take that. And okay, we did it. We are at our last super chat. Thank you all so much. I need to rest here after this one, but Dragonus Prime with the last one. I hadn't even considered the ending being Gideon kills Bo-Katan with the saber. And now that I've made Molly sad, might as well Alex do it dirty too. I mean, do Alex dirty too. You made her sad too. She likes Bo-Katan.
That would suck.
Yeah. It's possible. Like, Katie Sackhoff said something about how her pride, Bo-Katan's pride, is going to come into play here.
Yeah, but I see that more leading towards something else, and not her getting killed. I don't know, because that's just wishful thinking on my end, that I want her to show up in other shows.
Mm-hmm. Same. Okay, that is it. That's our 7th episode of This Is the Show.
Oh my God, there's only one more.
I know there's one more, but then the Bad Batch is probably going to happen not too late into 2021. It sounds like that'll be I'm going to guess February. Probably the same time that Clone Wars was last year.
I think
And we're just going to do this again.
yeah. But for our final episode, I think it's back to the normal time.
Yeah, we'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Ken Knapsack and Joseph Scrimshaw back on.
Yes. And everybody get on the stream. We're going to need all the emotional support we can get, whether it's to celebrate or to mourn someone or to just speculate wildly about some random cliffhanger. Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much again. Thank you for all of your chats, your likes, just being here, your super chats. We are going to we're going to go rest, and we will see you again in a week. See ya.